And perhaps it's a little less inspiring than the bicycle tracks that we've seen here, or more generally the leadership of the city for bikes, but my hope is that this presentation will allow you a glimpse into the inspirational ways that visionary Guatemalans are using the bicycle. This is a talk mostly about Guatemala, but not their bike tracks because there really aren't that many. They sure need them though, as bus drivers wielding these colorfully painted converted American school buses make bike riders something of an endangered species in this largely rural country. No, this is a presentation about Guatemalan bicimaquinas, or bike machines, and how these machines foster communities that speak in hopeful tones to a country facing a host of problems. It's about how bikes bring Guatemalans together with North Americans, and it's about the place where the bike becomes vital for local farmers. At the top of a big hill in a very small village called Itzapa sits Maya Pedal. It's a bike program connecting North America with Central America. Daily, villagers pass the shop on their way to the top of the hill with horses and mules loaded to the gills with firewood. In Guatemala, real horses likely outnumber our favored iron steeds. The traditional Mayan culture and Catholicism, neither of which have included many bikes, permeates every aspect of Guatemalan life. This year I witnessed La Fiesta de Semana Santa, where men and women carried massive wooden floats regaled with Christian figures through streets overlaid with fresh flowers made into a sort of beautiful carpet on the roadway. The men provided a soundtrack for the villagers carrying such a heavy burden, handmade floats all tied up with religion and brutality and hope, the strands of Guatemalan history. And as an American come to Guatemala to work with bicycles, of all things, I thought daily about the tremendous impact of my nation on this overburdened land. With 37 volcanoes, 4 of which are active, Guatemala is literally and figuratively shaken on a regular basis. In the 1950s, Guatemalans yearned for agrarian reform, but it was stifled by the United Fruit Company and the 1954 CIA coup that led to decades of instabilities. Guatemala has been an explosive nation with a decades-long trail of gunpowder and death. But the beauty of the land and the sincerity of the people contrast with this history. With more than 14 ecoregions, from mangrove forests to ocean littorals, Guatemala boasts 252 wetlands, 5 big lakes, 61 lagoons, 100 rivers, and 4 swamps. Papayas and avocados thrive in the tropical environment. But there's something else growing in Guatemala, and its seeds are ball bearings, and its stalks are chainstays. Its fruit is fresh, well-drawn water and perfectly ground maize. Along with Bikes Not Bombs in Massachusetts, Maya Pedal has spent 10 years turning discarded bicycles into bike-powered agricultural machines, or bicimaquinas. Volunteers from North America follow the bikes to Itzapa, where they live a simple life above the shop. Anywhere from 0 to 10 Norte Americanos live in Maya Pedal, sleeping on beds made of woven bike inner tubes and straw mats. The volunteers just kind of turn up, and sometimes is enough, sometimes not. But volunteer labor is free, which is a major asset for a program struggling to pay the bills. An expensive building and the cost of shipping bikes across the United States and Mexico is a challenge for this small Guatemalan program, meaning often the cost of the bike machines keeps them out of the local farmers' reach. But it is still the machines which remain the lifeblood and the hope for Maya Pedal. The bici licuadora is the most popular of the bike machines, probably because it's the most fun for the average person, which I assume likes smoothies, and very easy to build. The bike-powered blender is driven simply by a modified bicycle wheel hub. The pedal-powered washing machine, or bici lavadora, was a joint project between the Massachusetts Institute of Technology and Maya Pedal. It's made of 2 barrels, an outer barrel driven by a bicycle drivetrain, and an inner barrel that's constantly turning and bouncing around. A little hatch allows the user easy access to the clothes. The bici molino demonstrates why it's impossible to separate the function of the machines from the conditions in Guatemala. Corn is a staple of the Guatemalan diet, eaten sometimes at all 3 meals. And the bici molino, or bike corn grinder, allows Guatemalan women to work 2 to 3 times as fast with a fraction of the effort. But while speed and efficiency are often the products of the machines, it's not the stuff from which they're made. But this lengthy construction process for the machines is where the Guatemalan culture connects with the North American culture. It's where young bike mechanics and volunteers meet campesinos. It's the place where skills are used and shared. Building the bici bomba, or the bike-powered water pump, showed me the social capital generated by the construction of a single machine. Victor, at 15, is learning an innovative trade in a country with a 50% unemployment rate. Our work together at a little hillside family farm connected teenage mechanics with engineers, with North American volunteers and campesinos. The BC Bomba also illuminates the way bike machines enable farmers to expend less effort for the same amount of work. Using a rope with hundreds of small knots, tied by hand of course, water is pumped from the bottom of the well up a narrow PVC pipe. The pump makes drawing water a task easily done by anyone in the family. The Mayapidal community enjoys a number of small business clients as well as farmers, including a nearby macadamia nut farm that uses bike machines to shell macadamias. The nuts are used to make pancakes in the farm cafe and macadamia nut butter, which is for sale in their small shop. The bike machines promise a higher quality of life for a people with fewer resources than we enjoy. They are an empowering way for women to have more control over their lives and to have more time to live their lives in the way that they choose. The BC Bombas draw both water and time, and they hold promise for farmers in the developing countries across this world. Looking back at Mayapidal, I can see North American volunteers and teenage mechanics, Guatemalan women grinding corn at a steady cadence of 90 cranks per minute. Mostly, though, I see machines with the potential to improve the lives of people in the first and third world. Rural farmers use the labor-saving machines, and Norte Americanos enjoy the powerful hospitality of a people who show us what using the bike is all about. Thanks.